Let me see who is on this call. Oh, we have a new member, Lolu of Ibadan. When Lolu and Michael, you're welcome. There's Anjari Constructions, also you're welcome. And this is one of our many outlets at which we release content. So most times, some of our content go on our YouTube page at Realistic Project. Also, for other clarification and inquiries, you can just reach Realistic Project on Instagram and make every of your inquiries known. So this afternoon, we're just going to be doing an overview of everything that we've done for the month of June. I mean, we have two contents from building trends and also to why most buildings are looking the same and to a site walkthrough. However, we've been able to come up with people that sent us questions, and those questions will be what we're going to be addressing on the live session. So, mind you, every last Saturday of is actually on Saturday that we used to do our live session, but because of circumstances beyond our reach, that is why we have to do it on Friday, which is today. So every last Saturday of the month is when we do our live session. So this afternoon, I have with me the Managing Director of Realistic Project, Engineer Adebayo Giwa, and he's going to be answering every question that has been asked from every of the content that we put out there. So without so much to talk about, I mean the weather is a little bit cozy. So and I know we would love to go to our respective comfort zones. So the first question is coming from the first episode that we released in the month of June. The person is asking that which construction trend gives the poor on investment. So I'm going to be handing over to Mr. Giwa, to Engineer Giwa rather, to tell us which construction trend
Okay, I think I got the question. The network is a bit somehow. Yeah, so which construction trend gives the poorest return on investments? All right. The question is not a doesn't have a direct answer like that. It depends on, does that trend work for what you want to do, the goal you want to achieve? Is it viable? Right? If you want to build an high-rise building, is a trend on its own. If you want to build a duplex, is a trend on its own. The kind of design you want to have, an e-roof, you want to have a flat roof, a day roof, no matter the kind of design or the kind of investment project that you want to do, right? So the question is, how does it match the goal you want to achieve? So it is going to be poor if it does not work, if it doesn't what the goal you want to achieve with your investments. Whatever you want to build, if the trend you want to input in it is not matching, then it's going to affect it real big. So those are the things around how trends or which trend affects. There are many things going, things revolve. We do new things, people adopt to new things. But when you say that people are adopting to a particular thing, right? What are you doing?
yeah.
How does it match your own goal? So that's where, so if it doesn't match your own goal, whether it's a trend or not, it's poor. If it matches, yeah, that's the correct thing to do.
Okay. So I love that. The next question also is coming from the business sense and on investment too. So it's just the opposite of the first question. The first question is saying what is the poorest construction trend you can fit in. Now this person is asking that what building actually increase, like the investment would increase over time. So what is that kind of building that they can invest in? Is it a commercial building or a resident building?
Okay, talking about building features. Things that should be, that's the question you asked, right? Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, things that can increase the value of a property over time. Number one thing is for you to build correctly, for you to build a durable building, a building that you'll not be spending so much on repairs and all that at the end of the day. So building correctly, building to structural and architectural detail, building a durable building is the number one. Because no matter every feature you have in your building, when the building start deteriorating in less time, it means something is going to happen. Is the value decreases. Now let's now go to um, other features. Aside the normal mechanical and electrical fittings, there's something called extra load voltage. Those are external extra things you have in your building, like having a smart home, a home that have smart switches, smart locks, and all that. Having something like a pool where it's actually needed. It's not every building facility that needs a pool, but where it is actually needed and is going to be used and going to be well maintained, then having that feature is good. Having a swimming pool is good. Having a cinema in the house is good. There are many modern features that people get from when they go outside. Even people now have a salon in their house where they do their hair chores and all that, meant to barb and all that. So there are many features that can add to the features of a build. So far, it's not going to affect the durability and it's going to maintain properly.
Thank you so much. The next question is actually a very personal question. The
Mhm.
person is trying to know what is your kind of construction that you're going to embrace. So imagine you want to build your dream house. So the person wants to know, I don't know, maybe the person is so interested in knowing a lot of personal things. I mean, the person wants to understand what kind of construction trend would you embrace. You know, as humans, we have our own uniqueness and we have one thing we prioritize more. So it's trying to know which kind of construction trend, what kind of trend would you prioritize more from every of the construction buildings that you've handled.
Okay. Um, is like you said, it's more of a personal preference too, right?
Yeah.
So when I'm talking about construction trend, is the contractor that will select the kind of method they want to use to build their building. So what the owner, you as the owner needs is what kind of design do I want? Like I said in earlier, there are conventional design, there are modern designs. So where you have modern designs, client needs to select, maybe they want an hidden roof, they want square shaped buildings, not the one that will have curves and all that. So it's based on personal preference, is one of the things we do if you want to build and you want us to design that building for you is that we used to show our client a catalog, like a mood board, where you select different kind of designs. So when you select them, you can put it together to arrive to what will work for you.
Okay, that's for the first part of our video,
Hmm.
the first episode we released in June. Now, from the second episode is most why most buildings look exactly the same. Now, this question is coming from the artificial intelligence aspect. Now, a lot of people believe that with the rise in the AI, that
Okay.
architecture would start losing its relevance. It will start losing its uniqueness because you can use AI to, even to boil water. You can ask AI how to boil water. Now, with the rise in AI, artificial intelligence, do you think or would you see that architecture is losing its relevance? And is there a reason to that?
First, architecture is not losing its relevance. It's still one of the most needed profession service in the whole world because there's nothing we want to do tangibly that we are not going to need architecture in any industry, right? So now, in terms of maybe building residential and all that, we can say because of demand, because of, for example, in the region we are in Lagos, because of demand of land, people want to build high rise, and people want to manage whatever land they have. So that's where a case whereby if a particular architect meet themselves doing um, a kind of design for a set of clients, maybe a set of developers, they might see themselves doing something similar all the way. However, they can have other kind of clients to add to their portfolio where they can be creative and do great and new things. All right. So being static is possible only if you allow it. If you don't allow it, you have different jobs that you can do different other things, design a whole project from concept to reality, and you are good.
Now, talking about developers, are developers choosing repetitive design because they are more economical? Or does it have to? I know that in that episode we talked about clarity, we talked about budget, and we talked about what can work for both the client and the contractor. So now, with the way this person asks, is saying that are developers actually repeating design or just because they are economical?
Yeah, they are mostly repeating designs, and it's just for it to be economical, right? They are building to sell, and there's always a market and demand force, and there's competition. So in the process of that, yes, some still try to be creative. That's where the architect work will come in, even though is looking, maybe the forms inside of it is looking repetitive. They don't want the view to be the same. They still want to change one or two in the view to make sure that, okay, there are still some changes. So it falls that the only way developers can be able to build a mass and reduce cost is when they build something that are similar in more numbers. So with that, they'll be able to use the same forms, the same prop, the same form work and all that. And the workers that are working, even to the production of drawing, is just going to be the same, but be repeated all through. So that's really helped them to save cost and to also give the clients a more, discounted or minimal cost for the job.
Okay, so talking about design and then the architect trying to tweak it to be very creative, can two houses with the same budget look completely different? Like, oh, this person is my friend, and then we want to build the house together, and then this is the budget for the house. If the budget is the same budget, can the house also still look different, irrespective of the fact that the architect would also add his or her own creativity into it?
Okay, you said, if I get the question right, can two houses
Two houses
of
with
the
the
same
same budget
design with the same budget? Okay,
budget look different?
what about the design aspects?
The
Yes,
design aspect
yes.
might.
So
I think
two
I'm coming from the
houses
design
with
aspect.
the same budget, the same specification can
Yes.
look different. Yes, it depends on the design. If the design are similar, so far as, for example, if it's a two-story building and the other one is two-story building, the same cost can, and the other factors are environmental factors. Is it in the same location? Is it in the same land topography? If all those factors are the same, right,
Yeah.
with different design entirely, two houses can be done with the same budgets, different look. That can be achieved.
Wow. Okay. That shows the creativity that has to come with construction. For the
Yeah.
third episode that we had a site walkthrough, and it was Belmont project. Belmont is a commercial building, the one at where we went to the other day. And
At Yaba Koka.
yes, Yaba Kokam. So far, I think the last thing we did, what we saw them doing, was where they were mounting those iron rods, holding it together for casting.
Yeah.
Yes. So, and I'm sure that a lot of things would have still happened after that time. So what's the milestone? What's the biggest milestone that has been achieved? Maybe there was a particular challenge that was faced. Maybe there was a particular challenge that was faced during the project and during the construction. So overcoming it is a milestone. But what's the biggest milestone that you achieved during that project?
Okay. We cannot put a biggest milestone now because the biggest milestone on a particular project is the completion of that project. So all the milestones that we have now are still, step-by-step milestones. So maybe we say that one of the biggest one is when we did the load test for the file. We can count that one as it because the pile did not fail. So when we did a load test for the pile, it passed well, right? And we got a go ahead that the pile we did is okay to start loading, to start putting the building on it. So with that, we can say that's one of the biggest milestone yet. Then we completing the building with no structural failure will give us the final and biggest milestone.
Okay. So that aside, now let's look into some of the challenges. Now, if a new developer is trying to, venture into something like that, maybe the kind of area or the kind of soil texture, I mean, that place is a little bit swampy. And if a young developer is trying to, venture into that kind of building, what are some of the advice? Or before we even go to the advice, let's look at some of the challenges that they might likely face when they're handling such a project.
Okay. One of the challenges they are going to face is majorly the budget challenge, the financial challenge, because if you are not prepared to do a sophisticated foundation, if you have not factored that in your development process, it's going to affect and it's going to take like a lot from what you um, think about. For example, if you have ever said that you are going to complete this project with 500 million with a raft foundation, and you did not look ahead what is going to cost, you didn't know that, okay, you are going to do this kind of foundation, and you end up doing, that kind of foundation is end up recommended. That foundation might cost you extra 50 or 100 million. So if you budget 500 million for the project before and you end up spending 550 or 600 million, you know that have chipped in to whatever financial plan that you have for for the project. So, and how do you know all these things is to engage professionals from the onset of your project so that each ones will come in where they are needed, where the architect needs to come in, where the structural engineer, where the QS, where the builder, where the mechanical and electrical needs to come in at the consultancy, so that's like the design and planning stage. So when those ones comes in and they're able to sort things out, the construction stage will be fine and good.
I think your question has actually carried even both the challenges and the advice on it. Now,
Mm-hmm.
the last one I want to ask from the site walkthrough is what were some of the things you had to put in place to make sure that the project is progressive and is tilting towards a successful project?
Okay, we are putting in place, we are improving every day on proper planning and proper management. Proper planning, proper management, proper communication. So communication within us and the clients, communication within us and the consultants involved, communication within us and the government agencies, right? So for them to check, confirm, say their observation, what we are doing. If we notice anything that needs attention, we call everybody attention and make sure that at every stage we are getting perfection. We are doing things to go well.
Actually, it's a very beautiful plan. I mean, especially for young developers to be able to, you know, learn and draw from the well of experience to know how to put other things into place. So, if you have any question and you are on this live session, you can drop it in the comments box below and ask the question. And within that, I would like to reiterate what I said from the beginning of the session. So, the way the live session is supposed to be, it should be every Saturday, not every Saturday, every last Saturday of the month. We have our live session where we break down everything that we've learned from the first and second to the third episode of what we've learned the previous weeks and then the previous Saturdays. But that last Saturday is, has been given for question and answer. Maybe you saw something in that video and you did not really understand it, or there's something bothering you and you need to see it from someone else's perspective, from the lens of a contractor, from construction, building projects, real estate. Yes, realistic projects is the right place to ask the questions. More so, if you go to our YouTube channel, if you've not subscribed, I'm not happy with you. Yes. So you go to the YouTube page, you subscribe, and you can painstakingly watch it's the weekend already. You can watch every of the videos and learn something. Everything that we've spoken about this afternoon, we actually talked in depth. There are so much insights to unpack from it. It has been spoken about expressively. You can just go to the YouTube channel, learn about it. And if you have any question, just go to Realistic Project on Instagram and make every of your inquiries, especially if you want to build and you want Realistic Project to undo every of your construction. Like Engineer Giwa has said, there are professionals and there are people that will undo every of your projects. And if you go through the Instagram page itself, you will see every of the single project they've handled. They don't just come out to show you the outcome or the results. You will see the behind the scenes. You're going to see the process at which everything happened. And even you as the client, you'll be very happy that you did business with Realistic Projects, because at Realistic Projects, they take one thing very, very serious, which is clarity. If you're not clear about something, ask questions from them and then they would break it down to you, and they are very, very transparent. That is it about Realistic Projects. So we've come to the end of our live session today, and we are so grateful that you took out time. Oh, it's a busy week. You took out time to join this and you gained one or two things. Thank you so much for joining the live session, and thank you also to Engineer Giwa for being so insightful and giving us things to learn about from his well of experience. Thank you so much, and don't forget to anticipate for our very first episode in the month of July, and that's a wrap for the month of June. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.